It's nighttime here in Thailand. It's good to see everyone again on the weekend. It's nice to see such a wonderful community to come together on, Saturday to truly take the time to not only take a break from the whole week, but many people maybe they sleep in on Saturday, or they go do other activities that may seem more important to them for their mental health and physical health. But for you, I'm so happy to see that you choose meditation to be one of the most important things in your time, especially on the weekend when you don't have that much time to rest. But I can guarantee you this is the best thing that you can do for yourself, to not only rest your body, but to truly rest your mind. Because I'm sure we've all gone on vacation before, we've all gone to special spas, special places, but usually our thoughts still go with us. Our stress still goes with us. Our anything that may be lingering in our mind is still there, even though we go on vacation. So the best thing we can do for ourselves is to take the time to take care of your mind on the weekend, to give your not only your body a much needed rest, but also your mind. So today I wanted to just go over some principles for New York. I think for everyone on this group, we have got the intro from Mang Barin already about the basic principles of meditation and how it helps your mind. As he mentioned, we need to be mindful and relaxed. Those two things need to be together. Or you had mentioned that it'd be that the mind and the mindfulness and being relaxed is like the heart of meditation. But along the way, when we meditate, just like in any journey, any place we travel, if we're going by car, sometimes we run out of gas, we have a flat tire, sometimes we get into traffic, right? If you go on the plane, there's turbulence, and sometimes there's delays. If we go inside, it's the same. There is always obstacles, but it doesn't mean that we have to be frustrated. We have to treat the obstacles the same way as we do when we travel anywhere. If you're on your bike, you fall over. Sometimes it's okay, you get back up. If you're in the car, you run out of gas, right? If you have an empty tank, you see this meter in your car, empty, your first instinct is, oh, I need to find somewhere to pull over so I can fill up and continue my journey. But when you do that, what happens? When you pull over, does your car magically go back to your house? No, right? The distance that you traveled is still the same. It just means you pulled over to get more gas, and then you can continue your journey. The same principle is true in meditation. Why sometimes we are afraid to adjust, sometimes we are afraid to make adjustments in our meditation, because we feel like if we do that, our meditation is going to go back to where we started in the beginning, which isn't true. It's like a bump in the road. Sometimes you feel sleepy, sometimes you feel distracted, sometimes you feel tense physically or mentally. We just need to pull over, stop for a moment, pause, and adjust. And don't be scared or don't hesitate to do it, because it's like you're driving with a flat tire. You can keep going, yes, but eventually you will damage your car more and more as you go. And you will feel that the ride is not smooth, right? You can feel when something's wrong with my wheel, I need to pull over. You need to treat your meditation the same. If you're going and you don't feel in balance, you don't feel mindful and relaxed together, or you don't feel conscious and comfortable together, something will tell you. You'll feel it. Physically, something feels off. Mentally, it doesn't feel light anymore. It doesn't feel relaxing anymore. It feels strange. And that's when we need to pull over and adjust. So same thing. Get out and fill up your gas and continue your journey. In meditation, what we do is, if you feel uncomfortable, you feel off balance, we do the same thing. You adjust your body, you adjust your mind to be comfortable again. And this is something that we sometimes, myself included, are guilty of, kind of not pulling over and just keep going and hoping that everything will get better, or hoping the thinking will go away, or hoping that the pain that we feel physically maybe we'll finally conquer it and it'll, relax. And what we have to do is sometimes you can win the obstacle like that way by keep going and go open. But the easier and quicker way is just to reset. And what we do in meditation by resetting is just opening your eyes. Or sometimes before you open your eyes, go back to, it depends on the obstacle. It depends on the obstacle. But for example, if you feel sleepy, sometimes if you notice that you're feeling sleepy, you need to gently bring up the mental image again, the visualization, or use the mantra, or even both. But just like any case, sometimes the medicine isn't enough. So then we have to open our eyes. And opening your eyes will help you to wake up, right? And the key thing is once you open your eyes, check yourself. Am I more awake now, more alert now, or do I still feel drowsy? Do I still feel sleepy with your eyes open? In that case, don't rush to close your eyes again. Open your eyes until you feel more awake, more alert. Or if it doesn't get any better, get up, increase the dose. Get up and go wash your face, drink some water, and come back and sit. Will be much better than going through the meditation with a sleepiness and just trying dozing on and off like that. So, as I mentioned, when we travel inside, we'll have obstacles, but treat them as opportunities to learn about yourself, opportunities to learn how to adapt. And as you do it, you'll get proficient and it won't feel like for me, I have obstacles in meditation all the time, but I don't feel like it's gonna stop my progress. I just go around them or I work around them. Most of the time it's like we see a wall. In the past, maybe we run into it, but now we don't rush and we see that, oh, there's a wall in front of me. I can just walk around it, or maybe there's a door, or maybe there's a ladder that I can use to get over the wall. So in this example, for example, if you have a stressed out mind, you have a lot of wandering thoughts, it won't stop, what should we do? If we just continue to think it out, hope that we'll get to the end of it, like we're planning with our mind closed, okay, after this meditation session, I'm gonna go to a meet up with my friend and we're gonna go to there and this and that, and we keep planning and planning and planning. Eventually it'll just keep going and going and going and going. So in the meditation, the best and quickest way I would recommend, if the thoughts don't stop, if you use the visualization, use the mantra already, and it doesn't stop the thinking, do a hard reset by simply opening your eyes again. I know this seems like counterintuitive for some people, like, oh no, if I open my eyes, my meditation's over. But no, it's like you're a director and you're calling cut, and you're allowing the bad scene or the bad play to stop, and then we can start over again and continue again. And as we do that, it's like you slowly empty your mind of thoughts. You delete one thought as you open your eyes, and then you close your eyes again. Okay, maybe there's some more thoughts. You open your eyes again, you delete it. I guarantee you, if you do it 5 to 10 times, the thinking is going to slowly get lower and lower and lower as you train your mind to kind of cut the process of overthinking as soon as you realize it. My teaching monk would mention it as like, if you have like a cucumber and part of it is bruised and you don't want to use it, or maybe it's like a little bit rotten or something like that, you can cut it off, but you still have the other good parts still, right? And that's what you do when you open your eyes. You're cutting away the bad part of the meditation, but you still keep the good. Same thing is true for if you feel sleepy, as I mentioned earlier. Just adjust by opening your eyes and it will get better. So the question for you is, what is your main obstacle? Hopefully you know, and it may change from month to month, week to week, day to day, but I think we all have our own idea of what's our main obstacle. Like, oh, I fall asleep easily, or I have a lot of wandering thoughts all the time about work, about this and that. So you can ask yourself, or you can type in the chat, or whatever you feel like to say that, okay, this is my obstacle and this is what I have to work on now. And it's not a problem. It's actually good that you know your main obstacle, because knowing is half the battle, right? So if you know that, okay, my main obstacle is wandering mind, when you start the meditation, you should treat it differently than just jumping into it. And let's say you feel like you have a wandering mind, then you need to use the mantra and visualization to help you stay protected from wandering or having a lot of different thoughts about. When your mind is like free, when you start your meditation to just sit and relax in the beginning, and you don't use the mantra and the visualization to kind of be like a shield, then your mind is very prone to go back to thinking, because we're used to it. Your mind's open. There's nothing helping it to stay anchored. So hopefully this morning we didn't start our day too busy yet, so I don't think all our minds would be like that. But it happens. Maybe in the beginning I'm sitting and I use the technique of just relaxing, and I don't use the mantra, I don't use the visualization, I just relax and let go. And at first it works. There's no thoughts, there's no sleepiness, it feels good. And then let's say you start to have a wandering mind. So what should you do at that point? If you have a thought come in at that point. If you continue to do nothing, the thought is just going to continue to grow. And especially if you add to the thought by continuing onto it or focusing onto it, the thought will compound and get more and more and more. And it'll pull more thoughts, more thoughts. So at that point, we should adapt by using the mantra, using the visualization to help you stay thinking of one thing that is more calming. Okay, because if you think of the thought, it's going to get more and more intense, more and more distracting. But if you use the mantra and the visualization, it will help you to slowly learn to let go of that thought until you just focus on one thought rather than a continuous different random thoughts that keep going and going. So hopefully you are aware of yourself and adjust correctly, right? So again, going back to the car, again, if you have too much comfort, you will feel like your mind is wandering, you'll feel drowsy, and you'll fall asleep. So I think as you practice more and more, you will start to feel and learn for yourself what is the balance of being relaxed and mindful together, or being conscious and comfortable together. As Monk Burin mentioned in the video in the beginning, right? You need to have those two feelings. But it's also important to learn, okay, being conscious and comfortable is like being on the road. It feels smooth, it feels okay. But when there's too much comfort, it's like you're off the road now. So I'm sure if we've driven before, we can feel when we hit the shoulder or when we start to go off-road. Even though our feet aren't on the road, we can feel the difference as we drive, right? So the same thing in the meditation is when you're meditating, try to observe what does it feel like when you're in balance, right? Which I'll give you the answer is when it's in balance, you're going to feel more relaxed, you're going to feel neutral, you're going to feel, at the bare minimum, you're going to feel neutral. And anything other than that, you're going to feel relaxed, you're going to feel more positive as it continues. That's how you know you're on the road. It's going to feel easier, it's going to feel relaxing more and more, and then you're going to start to feel happy and happier and happier. But when we are off balance, when we're starting to drive on the shoulder, how do we feel? We're going to feel the moment that you're not in balance is the moment you'll start to have obstacles coming in. You start to feel drowsy, you start to feel wandering, you start to feel tense. So that's how you know, okay, I'm off the road and I need to adjust as soon as I can, and you can get back in balance. You can keep going in the right direction again. So again, simply adjust to make what makes you conscious and comfortable again, or what makes you mindful and relaxed again. Just when you're in your house, if it's too hot, too cold, too hot, we go and we adjust the AC, or we adjust the heat to the right temperature for you. The same thing is what we have to do in the meditation. If it's too comfortable, we need to increase some mindfulness. If it's too we're too mindful or too focused, it's going to feel tense and uncomfortable mentally and physically. So we need to increase the comfort. How do we increase the comfort? Let's say you were using the visualization and you felt uncomfortable with it. So just let it go. Don't do anything, for example. Don't do anything. Just increase the comfort, relax. Don't do anything. The opposite, if we're too comfortable, we need to increase the mindfulness by bringing the visualization back, bringing the mantra back to get back on balance. So it's a very, as I mentioned in the past, it's a balance between doing nothing and doing something. Meditation is really that art of switching between doing nothing and then switching between going back to doing something. We do something, which is using the mantra and the visualization or feeling the center of the body, for example. That doing something will help you to increase mindfulness or to increase comfort, right? And when we do nothing, we just do nothing. When we feel still, when we feel good, when we feel like we're in the middle, we feel right. It will feel good for you. You'll know, you'll feel it for yourself. You don't have to ask anyone. You'll know, oh, I feel good right now, mentally and physically. So follow that feeling, follow the comfort. Don't have to do anything else. But the moment you feel strange, you feel off balance, then we have to do something. So again, it's that, it's kind of like a game, I guess, between stop and go, something like that. But eventually, as you do that process, switching back and forth, the moment or the time where you can do nothing will actually get longer. In the beginning, we can only do nothing for maybe 1 second, 2 seconds, and then we have like we're off track, we fell off the road. And then, but as we do it, it's like your mind will get more familiar with staying on the road. And as we adjust, but if you don't adjust, what happens is your mind gets familiar with being off-road. So that's why it's like a habit that you have to slowly and retrain your mind to be, okay, I need to be here. This is better for me. But if you don't adjust, it's like, oh, I'm used to being like that. So your mind tends to like drift to being off the road or being off the path. So that's why it's so important to, as I mentioned, to adjust when you know that something's off. So you can build that habit of your mind being on the road. And eventually, as you do that, you'll be able to stay on the road or stay still longer and longer and longer and longer automatically. Because, I think one of the number one questions that people ask is, how do I stay still longer? I just told you. I just told you throughout the whole thing. Adjust when you feel off balance. And as you do that, your habit of your mind being still will increase as you get back on the road again. It's like a muscle. The first day you want to walk for, you haven't walked for many months, and all of a sudden you come and you just walk, don't have to go for a run, just walk around in the city. I'm sure you'll feel sore or you have swollen feet or something like that, and you feel uncomfortable. But if you walk every day, you get more stamina, you get more distance, you can walk further and further more smoothly. Your mind is the same. As you repeat this process, adjusting when you feel off balance, your mind will get stronger and be able to stay still longer naturally. But the key to all this is consistency. The hardest part of meditation, I would say, is being consistent. That's it. The rest is actually very easy. But the problem that we have to kind of fight with ourselves is our laziness to not look after our mind. But as you make it a habit more and more, I'm sure that laziness will go away. And especially when you meditate correctly, you start to feel that relaxation, you start to feel that happiness, and then it's something that you don't want to miss, don't want to put aside. And so it's like a snowball effect. As you keep going and doing it and doing it and doing it, it will accumulate and accumulate and accumulate automatically. Okay, so I would like to invite us